So, here's something interesting. I'm very curious about this. In fact, I'm not curious as much as I am convinced of something. But I want to ask. So, you know how sometimes people do bad things to other people? And when they do that, 5 seconds later, bam, what's known as instant karma. Something bad happens to them. So, is karma really a bitch? Does it even exist?
Interesting question.
Do you know karma?
I don't know. I don't know if it's real, but...
Have you ever met her? Hey y'all.
Hello everybody.
Homer.
And Sadie, we're here today to talk about karma and if karma is a bitch.
And if you've met her before.
Yeah. There is a good karma and there's a bad karma. This is what they say.
Sure, karma. Okay, but most people think of karma as a bitch.
Yeah. For good people, they're not going to meet the bitch. So.
They're going to meet what's the opposite of a bitch?
You do something and then you get something.
But
so there must be a good, nice karma.
Okay, let me ask you this.
And by the way, why it's a woman like a bitch? So why
karma is.
Why it's not a he like an asshole?
Hey, I didn't invent karma. Karmo. It could have been karmo.
Yeah.
It could be karmo too. It could be. But yeah, good point. But have you ever met karma in your personal life?
Like the bitch one?
Both, either. But let's focus on the bitch.
What about you?
Most people think of her as a bitch. They're afraid of her. Or they always say karma's a bitch.
I am afraid of like karma. Not as karma. I'm actually fucking... Oh my God. Now you saying it now, I know I'm afraid of it. And I never thought about it like, I'm afraid of karma. Yeah. And I don't want to meet the bitch. But there's some certain things happen in my life when I'm doing bad things against somebody. And in a second, I feel like shit. I need to make that up. I need to do something. It's like deep down, I know that's for that emotion that they created in somebody's heart. I'm gonna get something. So, for example.
But has she ever been a bitch to you?
No, because I'm so smart.
You're saying...
For example, let me tell you. There was another day...
I find that hard to believe.
Just listen to me.
She's never been a bitch.
So I was in my car and I was really mad for something. It was work-related shit. Yeah. So I was sitting in my car and there was this family. They passed by my car and there was like a shopping mall or whatever there. And they were actually carrying a cart. And there was their boy, like a young boy, 10 years old, 12 years old, was carrying the cart, and they hit my car
what?
With the shopping cart.
The boy or the mom? Or?
Yeah, not by purpose, but like by accident.
Yeah.
But I was in the car and they didn't stop to look at me and say sorry.
They hit your very nice car?
Yeah, and my car is gorgeous. I'm not going to say what he knows my car is gorgeous. And I was like... Convertible, yeah. And what happened was like, I was already mad. And then my car is nice also. And that happened. And then they didn't say nothing. They just walked away. And I opened the car door and say, hey, lady. It wasn't the lady, it was the boy. But I can't yell at the baby. They're gonna, I was like, hey, lady. And she was like, yeah, just pretending
like, that didn't happen.
And I was like, hey, I'm talking to you. And I never do that. But I was really upset emotionally for something else. And then she stopped and was like, didn't you see what your son did? And she was like, what? And I was like, you hit my car. And actually there was like a paint on my car, when you key a car or whatever.
Almost like a scratch?
It looks like a scratch. But then she came close and she started trying, and she cleaned it. It was paint.
Oh, it came off?
It was like a paint from the car. And she was like, nothing happened. Look, nothing happened. But that wasn't my point. My point was like, you need to stay and apologize.
Yeah.
And it was a very bad... she was so nervous because I talked to her that way and she left. And I went back to my car and I felt shit.
So karma wasn't a bitch at that point. You were upset.
Wait.
You know what I was
No. My point is, at that point, I felt if I don't go and make it up with that woman, karma is gonna come and meet me meet me somehow. So I was actually going to that. There was a store, like a market, and I knew they're going there, so I was actually going there too.
Yeah.
And then I found them. I went around and found them, and I was like, "Hey!" And she thought I'm actually going after them to say, like, pay for it.
You were not
and I was
ready.
like, "I'm really
not done."
It was so horrible for me to say that. It's so difficult. Imagine with a stranger. I was like, "I'm sorry." Wow. I was upset for something else. It wasn't really important.
Wow.
She was like, when I say excuse me, she was like, yes. And when I said it, her face changed and she smiled. She was like, it's okay. Wow. And I was like, I had a really bad day at work. I'm really sorry. And she was like, I'm sorry that you had a bad day. And I didn't meet Karma because I made it right.
Yes, Karma was like, she was getting ready to just
she was like, bitch, I'm coming for you.
Oh, fuck.
This girl, she's smart.
It's like, dang, you know what? I'll look for the next one.
Mm-hmm.
But I bet you that lady still to this day talks about the same story. And she probably tells about how you changed that experience for her and for her kid, thinking you were going to come back.
Exactly, those kids. Yeah. Why did I do that in front of those kids?
No, but you made it better.
That's what. No, that's what I thought. It was like, why did I do that? There were kids, and now they feel horrible. And then whatever. And then I tried. I mean, it's not gonna 100% redo. I didn't redo what I did, but I tried to do my best. And I feel that's why many times I don't experience that karma as a bitch.
Yeah.
Because I make mistakes, but I know and I try to fix it.
Yeah.
Anyways, I never met karma. That was my point. I know it.
Well, you're very lucky. And I'm not surprised. That's good. I'm not surprised.
Why aren't you saying? Because I'm an amazing person?
Yeah, obviously.
Thank you. He knows.
Karma knows who to fuck with. Karma usually goes with those who deserve.
Oh, shit. Yeah? I know people who met karma. Oh my god!
Are currently sitting at the table
with karma,
talking about karma's figuring out how to fuck them them over, and they're just trying to be like.
And I can't talk about it, so let's move on.
Yeah, but the interesting thing about that is, you ready for this?
Yeah.
To me, karma does not exist. Karma is not real. It's not real. Karma can be a bitch, can be a fucking whatever she wants to be, he or she. Karma doesn't exist. Do you know why?
Why?
Because karma is built on a concept, an idea, that if you do something bad to someone, or you do something bad to someone or whatever, karma is a bitch and she's going to make you pay for whatever bad thing you did, right? Mm-hmm. Otherwise, why would karma be a bitch? But I disagree. I disagree because if that was the case, karma would always be consistent with everyone, with all of the people in the world that do really bad things. There's dictators, there's criminals, there's so many people that get away with murder or so many other bad things. They never meet karma. Why? Did they buy off karma? Did they have some kind of agreement with karma?
So you know what? We had somebody not a dictator in Iran.
Uh-huh.
He was a judge at the beginning of revolution in Iran. He was a very famous judge, and he executed thousands of people. And he's so famous, he actually called the king of execution, the god of execution, something. And there were a lot of conspiracy around what he was doing at that point, but nobody dared to talk. But some of people were against him in the system, actually in the regime. In order to prove that he just randomly execute people, they actually put a lot of document for him to sign for execution. He didn't even meet the people to hear them defend themselves. And once they actually put his name on one of those papers,
and
he fucking signed it. And
That was karma, huh?
No, this guy said when they told him, why are you doing that? What if they're innocent? And he said, if they're guilty, so they need to be executed. If they're not guilty and they are innocent, it's okay, they go to heaven. So what happened is when he died, like at the last years of his life, he got this disease. Like, actually, I saw a video of him. They amputate his, what is that a word?
Amputate, yeah.
His eyes, and there was like worm actually inside his body. I don't know what was the disease called.
Karma. It's probably called karma.
So people in Iran, everyone, millions of people believe that was karma.
Yeah.
But then
that was karma.
So he met the karma when he, I don't know, he was a psycho that he became a judge and he killed thousands, even teenagers. Just because somebody teach something in a school, he didn't like it, execute them. At the beginning of revolution, it was just like a crazy shit. But then the people say that was karma. They say that was karma. That's why he died that way. But are we considering all the diseases karma in this way?
Well, that's my point too. We're human, and we anyone at any given point can develop a disease, whether it's by DNA mutations or whatever diseases are inherited or their environmental reasons. But I mean, if you think about it, there's so many good people, nice people
getting
disease,
cancer, a lot of things,
and they die too.
You can't actually prove that, as you say.
What?
That it's karma, because we have dictators. They you can't. I think I agree in that point that we can't say this is karma, because there are many dictators, like they actually control millions of people's lives, like Kim Jong-un in North Korea.
Yeah,
like there are millions of people kidnapped by him, like they were like in a big prison.
Yeah.
And he lives his life like a king, and then his daughter is gonna be next, and they kill. What is it? Maybe karma is something made up from like some people made this up just to for the people, for the public to feel better about being a victim. Yeah, it's like again talking about heaven and hell. Yeah. Because I remember once in one of my video, actually our video, we talked. I said I'm not afraid of hell. Yeah, I don't believe it. And then somebody, one of my fan actually in my Instagram,
like, said, oh my god,
it was like, what do you mean? You mean if there is no hell, the motherfucker, our supreme leader, that he's also dictator in Iran, he was like, so he's gonna just die and he's not gonna be tortured,
unfortunately.
And it was like, they made up hell for you, so you feel it's okay. If he's making my life hell, he's gonna go to hell, so you're not gonna do anything against him.
Exactly. And so that they can feel like if we can't do anything about it now,
karma is gonna do.
Someone will give us justice later.
So that would be the point, that
to feel better about that. Yeah,
just and not to also make you not to do anything. Just stay, accept this. Because there will be
put it off on someone else. Put that responsibility on someone else. But let's be real. Most people, even then, something like that, most people can't do anything about it. They can't go up against the dictator, or they would have already. So it does help them to know that if they have no power, that someone greater than and beyond us will take on that responsibility, like karma. And
that makes them feel better for doing nothing, but that's not real. We have 80 million people in Iran, 80 million people. If 20 million of them come out, sit in the street, the government, the regime is going to be gone. But they're not going to do it. Everyone is waiting for somebody else. Some of them are hoping that they're going to go to hell. Somebody's waiting. Some of them are waiting for Donald Trump to become president and attack our regime. So he's coming to save us. There are like a lot of shit going on. But the fact is, just there is a small number just thinking, oh, they're going to pay for it one day, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know who's going to do. But that's not real, that what you say, that because they can't do anything. You know, people have power, public has power.
But they're not doing anything, so maybe they can't.
Did you see what happened in France recently?
Riots?
There was protests, and farmers, they brought all their tractors, like cars, like trucks.
Oh, I think I did see
there
that.
Was there's a picture, I love that picture. There is like trucks all over Paris, so the tourist area where the Eiffel Tower is, and you can't even, there's like, they stop the city. So the government, they paralyzed the city. So people have power. They're farmers, and they
okay,
do that.
of course, people have power.
But they just decided, like, for that hope of like one day karma.
Those people decided not to wait for karma. Those people decided maybe they don't believe in karma.
Yeah.
So it's up to them, and that is also part of the idea. Karma is meant to be something that has the consequences, like almost guaranteed consequences. But that's not the case either. So my point is, karma is misunderstood, misinterpreted. Consequences are real and they do exist based on our actions. We do something, we run the risk of a consequence, whatever that is. Could be good consequence, could be a bad consequence. The thing is, no consequence is guaranteed, even if you're doing something bad. Unfortunately, it's not as straightforward as math, like 1 + 1 is always going to equal 2. A good action plus another good action is not always going to give you an equal, it's not always going to equal a positive result, unfortunately. Just the same, a bad action with another bad action isn't always going to result in a bad consequence. The risk is always going to be there, but some people are never going to get caught, because some people never get caught and they get away with murder and or who knows how many other bad things that people do. I mean, Kim Jong-un, Vladimir Putin, your current
Ali
dictator.
Khamenei, please call him, because I want him to be in the list. His name is Khamenei. His name is difficult. Khamenei. Yes, he's the dictator. I want his name to be with these 3 motherfuckers.
So all of these people.
Also, China is also, they consider him, what is his name?
Xi Jinping?
Whatever.
Something like
I
that?
don't know his name.
Something like that. So, okay, these dictators. And that's just the people that we know of in a bigger scale. But it goes all the way down to a person who decides to purposefully hit a pedestrian and not stop and keep going, a hit and run. Or people who decide to break into a store and rob the place, or rob a house. All of these things, these people will always have risks. Even these dictators, they're running on risks. The risks are someday another country might invade them and they might dethrone them or
like
whatever.
Saddam Hussein, Iraq's dictator.
Yeah. So the risk is always going to be there, but that doesn't mean it's always going to be a guaranteed result. Yeah. And so karma, it's nothing that we can rely on. It's nothing that is a set thing that exists that always.
I think maybe it's our expectation. It's going to be another video. We're going to talk about what we manifest when we believe. It's interesting because usually, when people are like, I'm not lucky and bad luck, always like complaining, and they keep happening to them.
Yep.
Have you met those kind of people?
Yeah.
So are they attracting, manifesting more bad luck?
Yeah.
Or are they creating? So in the same topic, let's go talk about karma. If you're a shitty person and you know you're shitty and what you do, you feel guilt about it, you might actually manifest some consequence for yourself. So that might be, and the same thing can happen for a good person who you are doing something good and giving away because you're a good person, you might get good things. I actually had an experience. I can't say it was a good karma or whatever. Once we were in traffic, a car hit us from a back. It wasn't it was just a very small touch.
Small bump?
Yeah. I got out, they were old couple, very old couple, 70. They're not very old, they are old. Old couple, yeah, and 70. And then the guy was honestly shaking. And I was look at the car, and there was small scratch. And it wasn't my nice car, which I was go. And he was thank you. And I was sure. And we got to the car, come back. And then a few days later, I was in Costco. I was actually getting out of the parking with the same shitty car, which doesn't have a camera back. So when I was driving out, I actually hit a car in a parking. There was nobody there. I could escape. I was like, shoot. What should we do? I start thinking about it and was like, I can't do it. So I start writing my number, name, and everything. And
was there damage?
I broke their what they call
one of the lights.
Yeah, one of the lights.
Signal lights.
Just the light was broken, and I was like, it's okay. So I wrote my number and name and put it there. It took me 10 minutes to decide, am I going to be a good person and do that? I actually parked my car away. I would like to have the freedom of making decision.
Nice.
And then when I put in, I was leaving and I saw this like 40 years old almost couple coming. They were like, oh my God, they saw their car. And I was like, I need to go tell them. I mean, they had my number at that point, but I was like, and I went there, I was like, hey, sorry, it was me. And they started talking to each other. I was like, I'm really sorry, it was me, but I left my number, I can pay. And they were like, do you have insurance? I was like, yeah, I have insurance, but I can pay. It's like a light, it's nothing. But they were like, give me your number. I was like, that's my number over there. And they were like, actually called me and said, it's okay, go, we'll call you. And after like a week, they contact me and say they paid $60 for the light, and they changed it. And they took it very easy. And at that point I was like, what if I took it very hard on that old guy? I was like, oh my God, you scratched my car, you need to pay for it. I could have met someone like myself.
Yeah.
But since I wasn't a bitch, I think I met someone like myself. They didn't care that much. They were like, it's okay. And they just asked me for $60. I think that was fair, honestly. And
they asked you for $60.
Yeah, they say we changed it to $6. I mean, it's cost actually.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But
yeah, that makes sense.
I wouldn't have asked for $60.
I told them that I will pay for it, so they bought it. Anyways, so that was a good karma. I know that sounds like, oh, you hit someone's cars. That's not a good thing. But I could meet some bitches like, no, give me your insurance. My car is like, I need to get it to somewhere. You know, some people are doing that. But maybe it's good karma.
I mean, karma is like an expression. I feel it's more of an expression. Yeah, it's still a result of actions. Like you had those actions, you decided to take it on a good attitude and be friendly with them and own up to, being responsible for what you did. That changes their reaction too. They no longer have to be so defensive and want to prove a point to ask for more than necessary because you're being difficult. They might feel like, oh, this person's actually nice. Look, she admitted she's here. She's not trying to hide. She gives her number. Let's be fair. She deserves our fairness.
We can interpret it that way too.
Yeah. That's usually, and that's I think the key is but the idea that it's just an interpretation. Everything is interpretation. Everything is how people interpret it. Karma is very interpreted famously and commonly as karma is a bitch, as something that is always there. But it's not. Karma doesn't exist. It's just a result. Consequence that sometimes we face and sometimes we don't. We get lucky and we face
it's the same with the luck, I think with the luck, when somebody say I'm lucky or not lucky.
Oh yeah.
It's the same. Yeah. It's the same. So that's also, it's just idea so people can interpret something and I'm so lucky because this happened. Yeah. I believe myself as a lucky person. So
Me too.
Any small thing happen, people think it's like if I find a penny, if I find a
penny,
I was like, oh my God, this is a sign.
Everything's lucky.
Those people who think they're unlucky, they would be like, look at this. This doesn't worth anything.
Yeah, it's my lucky microphone.
Yeah. What's that? Okay, so guys, what do you think?
But here's one last thing.
Oh, you want to say the last thing?
Yes. The only crazy thing that is crazy, because I just said it was crazy.
You say so.
Yeah. These dictators, you said something about the dictators, like the law, which we'll talk more about in another episode, about the law of attraction or the affirmation.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Manifestation.
Manifestation. Yes. This is one of the Asian words.
Yeah.
So the affirmation, when people think of, they're bad luck, and so they attract bad luck and they attract all this negative stuff around them, these dictators are immune to that because they're doing a lot of bad things, yet they're not attracting bad things around them. Because they attract wealth, they attract power, they attract status, leadership. they don't attract things that other people would attract
because they don't think they're bad people. Usually this is for small
That's
people.
my point. Yeah.
It's like a small stupid poor people things like we feel bad for nothing. We feel bad for enjoying our lives.
Yeah.
I know many people that if
they feel guilty.
They feel guilty
for joys, for enjoying
like,
joys, simple joys of life.
I'm not productive today. You know, many people are like that. They feel guilt because they're not working their ass off, which is horrible. But those motherfuckers, they feel they own the world. Like everyone is my server. Everyone needs to work for me.
They kill someone and they're like, "Yep,
and as I told you, that the guy that the king of execution, he was like, I killed them. If they were good people, they would go to heaven. So his picture is, I didn't do a bad things because I actually sent him to heaven.
I'm doing
faster.
a good thing. Yeah, send me some more. I'll send him.
He actually sent his own. Yeah. Okay. So what do you think, guys? Let us know. Have you experienced
karma
as a bitch, as a good, nice?
Yeah. You friendly with her, or is she a bitch to you? I know what she is to me. She's very friendly to me.
Oh my God, you're narcissistic. Okay, just let us know and watch our next episode. I'm going to talk about something very interesting, which is manifestation, which I believe. And I actually, no, I'm not going to say it. I will say it in the next video. Anything else? No. Take care.